Welcome back to Proving the Concept. I'm your host, Sarah Goffin, here to take you on another adventure into the weird, the wonderful, and sometimes bizarre world of science and technology. Today's episode, A Spoonful of Sugar, is a special treat, pun intended. We're dedicating this episode to exploring the science of sugars and polysaccharides. We'll uncover the chemistry behind sugars, their essential roles in nature, some fascinating applications in technology, and their surprising cultural history. And, as always, we'll be highlighting the work of a trailblazing female scientist who has made significant contributions to this field. So, get comfortable, maybe with a sugary snack, or a less sugary one if that's your thing, and let's dive right in. Start with the basics. What are sugars and why are they so important? Sugars belong to the carbohydrate family, one of the essential macronutrients we need to survive. Chemically speaking, carbohydrates are molecules composed of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, typically in the ratio of one carbon atom to one water molecule, hence the name carbohydrates. The simpler sugars, or monosaccharides, include glucose, fructose and galactose. These are the building blocks of more complex sugars. When two monosaccharides combine, they form disaccharides such as sucrose, lactose and maltose. But sugars don't stop there. They can chain together to create polysaccharides like starch, glycogen and cellulose. One fascinating aspect of sugars is their incredible versatility. Glucose, for example, is our body's primary source of energy. It's so vital that your brain alone consumes around 120 grams of glucose daily. And while we often associate sugars with sweetness, they play roles far beyond taste. Sugars in nature, the big picture. Sugars and polysaccharides are everywhere in nature, serving as energy sources, structural components, and more. Let's start with plants, which use photosynthesis to create glucose. This simple sugar is then stored as starch for energy or used to build cellulose, the structural component of plant cell walls. Interestingly, cellulose is one of the most abundant organic compounds on Earth. It's what makes wood strong and gives vegetables like celery their crunch. But humans can't digest cellulose. It passes through us as dietary fibre. That said, cellulose isn't wasted. It feeds microbes in our gut, which play critical roles in digestion and overall health. Now, let's dive into the ocean, where polysaccharides like agar and carnaugan are harvested from seaweed. Now, let's dive into the ocean where polysaccharides like agar and carrageenan are harvested from seaweed. Agar is a favourite in microbiology labs as a medium for growing bacteria, whilst carrageenan is widely used as a food thickener. Animals rely on polysaccharides too. Glycogen, the animal equivalent of starch, is how our bodies store glucose for quick energy. And then there's chitin, a structural polysaccharide found in the exoskeletons of insects and crustaceans. This remarkable molecule is also being researched for biodegradable materials, but we'll get into that later. Sweet history and cultural significance. The story of sugar isn't just scientific, it's deeply cultural and historical. Did you know that sugarcane was domesticated over 10,000 years ago in Southeast Asia? It eventually became a global commodity, shaping economies, politics, and even human migrations. During the 17th and 18th centuries, sugar production drove the transatlantic slave trade, creating immense wealth for colonial empires while exacting devastating human costs. It's a bittersweet history that underscores the power of this seemingly simple substance. On a lighter note, sugar has inspired some quirky cultural traditions. In Mexico, calaveras de azúcar, or sugar skulls, are a hallmark of Dias de los Muertos celebrations. These intricately decorated treats represent departed loved ones, blending sweetness with remembrance. And speaking of sweetness, did you know that artificial sweeteners like saccharin were discovered by accident? In the late 19th century, a chemist working with coal tar derivatives tasted a compound on his hands and found it incredibly sweet. Saccharin became the first of many sugar substitutes. Sugars in modern technology and research. Sugars aren't just for food, they're key players in some cutting-edge technologies. One exciting area is sugar-based batteries. Researchers have developed a prototype that uses maltodextrin, a polysaccharide derived from starch, to generate electricity. These batteries are biodegradable and could offer an eco-friendly alternative to traditional ones. Another fascinating development involves chitin, the polysaccharide mentioned earlier. Scientists are using it to create biodegradable plastics, medical sutures, and even wound dressings. Chitin is abundant and renewable, making it an attractive material for sustainable innovation. And let's not forget the field of glycobiology, which studies how sugars interact with proteins and cells in the body. This research has led to breakthroughs in cancer treatment, vaccine development, and even understanding how viruses like influenza and COVID-19 infect cells. One fun fact: sugars are also used to stabilize medications and vaccines. As promised, we're concluding with a spotlight on a trailblazing scientist. Today, we're celebrating Dr. Carolyn Bertozzi, a pioneer in the field of glycobiology. Dr. Bertozzi's work focuses on glycans, complex sugars that coat the surface of cells. These sugars play critical roles in cell communication, immune responses, and even the progression of diseases like cancer. Dr. Bertozzi developed bioorthogonal chemistry, a method for labeling and studying glycans in living systems without interfering with their natural functions. Her groundbreaking research has had practical applications in developing new cancer therapies and diagnostic tools. For her contributions, Dr. Bertozzi was awarded the 2022 Nobel Prize in Chemistry, and her work is a testament to the power of curiosity and innovation, especially in fields that don't always get the spotlight that they deserve. And that's our show for today. An exploration into the science, history, and technology of sugars and polysaccharides, from the molecular marvels of glucose and cellulose to the cutting-edge research of Dr. Carolyn Bertozzi. I hope you've gained a new appreciation for this sweet substance. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow science enthusiast. And as always, I'd love to hear your ideas for future episodes. Until next time, stay curious and maybe indulge in a spoonful of sugar. For science, of course. Till next time, keep proving the concept.